Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 478 at scavengerlife.com.
Welcome back, Ryan.
Welcome back.
Let us into your lives through your ears.
Wow.
We've invaded your brain.
We weren't around last week.
Yeah, that was a rare not doing the podcast. But so you took a class on how to roast coffee.
It was kind of hilarious. Phil, our roaster, and I took an advanced roasting class, which he's obviously very qualified for. I am not.
Right.
So,
but you're a fast learner.
I'm a fast learner. I know I've roasted with Phil several times. We've developed recipes together. So I kind of just jumped in. I know a lot about coffee because I'm a Q grader too. So that's kind of a different aspect of it.
Right.
But you have to know roasting to know Q grading. So my teacher was like, he knows me, obviously. Yeah. So it was fine. But it was super, super intense and a lot of info and a lot of good info. And
just to be clear, I mean, this is a 3-day class.
Yeah.
And this is not like a little roaster like that's on your table. These are like big stand-up, like industrial roasters, industrial roasters.
Yeah, so you're trying to figure out how to make your coffee taste good on them.
Right, where you're doing 10 to 30 pounds at a time. Mm-hmm. And there are actually much, much bigger ones. So this is not like huge industrial
Yeah, we're
roasters.
not Starbucks, but
yeah, and so it's cool. And just trying to, and that's the exciting thing about this like journey we're taking.
Yeah.
Because it's fun for us, is that, coffee, there's like Folgers coffee where you taste it, it's kind of like
it tastes like coffee.
It just tastes
some people might say it doesn't taste like coffee.
but it just tastes like coffee. It's kind of flat, just kind of, and that's fine. That's a lot of people's taste. It's what I grew up with.
It's called commodity coffee.
But actually the coffee bean has like a lot of flavors in it. And if you roast it in a certain way, you can bring out all this complexity of the bean where, it hits your mouth and it can be one taste and then it can turn into a different taste.
Different mouthfeel, different body.
Beans from different parts of the world have different flavors. Like Ethiopian beans are very fruity, which I'd never tasted before.
Yeah, they're amazing.
But it really does taste like a fruity coffee and it's really good. Yeah.
So part of the roaster class that we took is, and when I took my Q grader exam and Q grader courses, I mean, you learn all the complexities of the bean and the different acids and sugars that change when you roast it.
Yeah.
So, and that's how those flavors come out. But yeah, it's endlessly fascinating.
Yeah.
Specialty coffee is an amazing like science and art. Folgers, like you said, that's called commodity coffee.
Right.
What we're doing is called specialty coffee. Right. It's almost like a whole different business.
Right. It's kind of like a farmer in America that's growing food. There's a farmer that just grows like soybeans and whatever. It's just like it's a commodity crop. Like it kind of put it out there, get it out, put it on a truck.
Like iPhone cases.
And it's fine. It's cool. Yeah. But then, there's the American farmer that's growing like specialty vegetables or something, and there's like a lot of
or specialty grains.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of work and put into it, and it's the same way with coffee. There's coffee farmers that are just growing commodity coffee. It's kind of blah, and then there's the coffee farmers that are growing like specialty coffee. Which anyway, so why are we talking about this? Is this podcast about coffee? No,
it might soon become that.
This is just kind of a fun story for us because this is like one of the cool things that we can do. Yeah. Because we started selling on eBay.
Yeah. It's a direct.
It all comes back to that for us.
It's direct. Yeah.
And it's something. It's funny on the forum Simplicio.
You always say people's names wrong.
Is that how you say it?
Simplicio? I don't know.
And he's Canadian. He was saying, we were kind of talking about something else, but I was pulling some good ideas from what he was talking about. We were talking about how when you start to sell on eBay and you're obviously oftentimes selling like one thing, like I'm selling just clothes, and then you realize like, oh, there's all this other stuff, and he says like, and most of all, I feel it's important to try to become exposed to bigger and bigger opportunities. And what he means is, like buying different kinds of things because you can make more money on those things. But I was taking it more of just like, that's our eBay business in general.
Yeah.
Like, it was great. We started to sell on eBay, and the whole goal was just like pay our bills and just not have to go work for
pay the bills.
somebody else. But then at some point, if you get good enough at that, then you just have a lot more time, and you actually have some extra cash.
Yeah.
And then you can do other
things.
And that's the exciting thing for us, is that we've been trying to, the whole point is for us to have opportunities just to do things like learn how to roast coffee.
Yeah.
Open up a coffee shop.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's interesting to us. Now, that's not interesting to everyone, as we know. Like, not everyone's going to be like, let's start 4 other businesses. Because
I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Serial. Yeah, sort of.
Seriously.
But, so it can be very tiring. Like, I was exhausted after that class, but...
In a good way.
Yeah, it's physically exhausting and mentally exhausting to try to stuff all that information in your brain. But it, like, with Phil and I, the minute we ended class, we had like a little debrief at our Airbnb, and we were so excited,
Right.
We were like, I can't wait. Oh, I want to try this, and I'm so excited to try this.
And we keep talking about this guy. He is going to be our partner in this coffee business, and it's also good that it's a way to become more integrated.
Yeah, you're connecting with someone. Yeah,
and being able to learn a language that we can all talk about.
Yeah, so those things are exciting for us to be able to have the resources to do.
Right. And that's why this podcast can't just be about, and today I sold this, because it will be about that. Trust me. Don't worry.
We're getting to that.
We're going to get to that. But I think for us, the excitement is that over the long term, eBay business just leads to, I hope, other things, whether it be, you're sending your kids to a college you might not have been able to send them before, or you're paying off your house mortgage or whatever, And Simplicio also, I'm sure I'm saying that as well. This guy in Canada
who we talk to all the time.
It's respect a lot. He also said he believes in paying for experiments, what he was referring more to, like being willing to pay up for an item he might not be sure about.
Yeah,
to just try it.
Yeah,
and to learn and to experiment. And we do that too. Mm-hmm. In eBay, we've done that many times. I've been to an auction, and I see a table of something where I'm just like, I don't really know exactly what that is. I'm going to, spend $300 and find out. Yeah. And sometimes it works out. I mean, most of the time it works out.
Yeah, most of the time it works out.
We often break even. We've never
lost money. Like, I can't think of any time I've lost money.
But it also we have a lot of fun doing that because it's something new and different. And I feel like it's the same way again with taking this coffee class. It's it's just kind of an experiment we're doing in our lives. It's fun. Yeah. We plan to make money from it. Yeah. That's, but.
Right, sure. But, we're trying, there's another, idea behind this, and it is trying to change the culture of our town and to change what exists in our town.
Sure.
We didn't have to do it this way. We could have just rented the space to someone, but we felt like this was more of a sustainable business model, because a lot of people will rent out to food-based businesses, and then they just go out of business because they're bad business people.
Yeah.
Or their food is terrible.
Or I think I think for me in life in general, and this is true for anyone that owns an eBay store too. It's just it's about imagination. I just feel like some people just don't have a lot of imagination, so whatever they do just doesn't seem very inspiring or interesting.
Or inspired.
Inspired, right.
Yeah. And they're just kind of I'm just doing this. Yeah. Not really sure why.
And so
it's working, sort of.
We really encourage people to have some imagination about what you're doing and have some fun, because if you're having fun, then other people feel that,
Yeah. And it just makes things so much more enjoyable. Right. Why are we doing this if it's not fun? Which you are constantly telling me, because I get stressed out about things. But
I'm there just to provide some perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
I hear you. It's definitely been a stressful time. recently, just because we're doing a lot, and it feels like a lot's on the line, and we're spending money, but we have to have some perspective of how far we've gone
in just a year.
Yeah.
Look, 2 years ago, if that, we were like, wouldn't it be cool to do this? How would we even go about doing that?
Well, like having a coffee.
Having a coffee shop.
Yeah.
We're like, we'll just buy bulk beans from Costco.
Right. We'll like buy it's machines from Walmart, and we'll just and honestly, you could still...
Look, I know coffee, I've been to coffee shops in our area that run their shops. That's how they run their shops.
Right.
I wouldn't call them a coffee shop. I would call them
coffee.
I don't know what I would call them, but...
But yeah, so it's been an adventure where we're like, but it could be like this, and it could be like this, and just learning and having more fun, and being excited about it. And it's kind of like a journey that we are allowed to take that we couldn't take if we had to work for somebody else full time.
I think also what's super interesting and fun to me is meeting and connecting with a different kind of community.
Yep.
Like we went to a coffee tasting yesterday in our area. It was a totally different town. Of these other small roasters, these two guys.
Harrisonburg, Virginia?
It was in Harrisonburg. And it was so fun talking to them about coffee because we're actually like, I actually know exactly what they're doing. I look at their setup, I taste their coffee. I'm like, is this such and such?
Right.
Oh, yeah, I definitely get blah, blah, blah.
They are now our peers.
Yeah, and so it was so fun to really talk to them. It was like,
And again, it's just it's fun to talk to other people selling on eBay.
Yeah, because they know what you're doing.
It's like when we started selling on eBay, there really wasn't a community that felt healthy anywhere, which is one reason why we started doing this, because we enjoy having communities around what we're
camaraderie
doing because it's fun, and so it's fun to be involved in things that have other people doing it. It's really that's the end of the day. That's what it's all about for us. Are you ready for philosophy, Ryan?
Are we not philosophizing right now?
Philosophy talk?
More philosophy.
Have you ever heard of the Maslow Hierarchy of Needs, Ryan? I'm sure you've heard this.
Probably. I don't know if it's
like this thing.
That.
It's like this thing. I don't know. It came up in the 40s or whatever, and it's like a pyramid where at the bottom it's your basic needs, food, water. That's what you need. Warmth. Then there's safety. I need to feel secure, and then above that is I need to feel loved. And then above that is I need to feel a sense of accomplishment, and then at the highest is self-actualization.
It's funny
where you have a feeling you're fulfilling all of your potential.
It's funny that you call that the top of the pyramid because I see it's illustrated that, but it's really actually the bottom of the pyramid.
Oh, you think so?
Well, no,
That's
because
Orion's hierarchy.
No, because the base of the pyramid is the biggest thing. So obviously, food, shelter,
and
is
so
the most important thing for survival.
My point is when we were starting our eBay store.
Yeah,
it was just basically it was 2008. It was in the last crazy economy crash.
Burned.
Yeah.
Not as bad as just now.
And here we are again in another one. But back then we were just we need some money to pay our bills.
Yep.
And so it was basically we're at the bottom of the pyramid.
Yep.
Feed ourselves.
Yep.
Pay the bills.
Have shelter.
Yeah. And then, as our eBay store was getting more and more successful and we knew where to put the work into it, we were okay, we're feeling pretty good.
Got a little cushion here.
Yeah, we have some extra money.
Let's buy a house.
Yeah. Right. And then, and so we kind of worked our way up there, and that's kind of where we're at now is now we can have fun.
Self-actualization.
We're self-actualizing.
Well...
and it's true. It's that's am I secure? With just can we pay our bills?
Yeah.
Yes.
I am. Yeah.
And then the things that's important to me is how do I like how I spend my time?
Right.
And we talk about that endlessly.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that we own our time.
Yes.
And I like, for the most part, how we spend our time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, sometimes.
Do I like the people I'm with?
Right.
I question that all the time. And the answer is
Sometimes
yes.
I do too.
And the answer is yes. You know, like I don't like. The great thing is we don't have to have people in our lives who, you know,
or like drama or toxic
or whatever. Yeah, I mean, and do I like, you know, how I treat people and how I'm treated? I mean, that's the other thing.
Sure.
Like, even though I like you, I've got to make sure you're treating me right.
Yep.
I got to make sure I treat you right.
Yep.
You know, I mean, and then really for me, my pyramid, the most important thing is, can I sleep at night peacefully?
Yeah.
I think it's this thing as you grow older, because I hear old people talk about sleeping a lot, and not sleeping. I feel like that's really becomes important.
It really does. Like as crazy as, you know, when you're young, you're like, I'll stay up all night, which I could never do.
Or just like, I just remember being young and falling asleep and just like, I was
no thoughts.
I don't know. Now it's like I wake up a lot, you know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about things. I'm like, so anyway.
Yeah.
When I can sleep at night, it's like that's like the best. Mm-hmm. And that's,
it's a good measurement of like fulfillment and not fulfillment, but like feeling secure in things.
And that's why Ryan knows this to be true. Yes. Anytime we meet people like those people in Harrisonburg when we're talking about coffee businesses, I'm always talking to people about, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
You know?
How are you able to accomplish
How did you make this happen?
This?
Like, how did you rent this space and you got this like $50,000 coffee roaster? I'm just like, how are you doing this? Like, and I don't mind, you know, if people don't want to tell me, they don't have to. I'm not rude about it. But oftentimes people want to talk because I'm looking for the story that I think is true. And I don't really believe people when they say like, well, I did this one thing and now everything's good and I'm rich forever. Yeah. It's like the lottery story. Yeah. And you see that a lot on the YouTube. Yeah. On the YouTube.com channel.
The YouTube.
Where people who sell on eBay, it's like some people have this thing they're trying to put out. Like, I did this thing, I'm rich, I'll tell you how. Yeah. Pay me
to tell you.
I just don't believe that.
Yeah.
I like the story when people are like, well, I started doing this thing. I made it a habit. Yeah. I'm doing it regularly now. And as long as I do it, my life is better. Right. And that's the story I believe to be true because that's just how our story has been. Yeah. You know?
Well, I think also you'll see other people, like there are other businesses that we've seen recently, not the people we were talking to yesterday, but some other people. And on YouTube through eBay sellers or coffee roasters or coffee companies where you're just like, how did they build this thing? How did they get the funding for that? You know, like what's the secret to that? But then you just don't know the whole story. You never do unless you sit down and like talk to them. You know?
I mean, and that's, I think, one of the things that we've had to learn, the pitfalls are like when you meet those people who are like very confident and they're kind of braggarts and they're like really confident telling their story of like their success and they're like super confident and it always makes me question like, are we doing this right?
Yeah, are we doing this
I definitely
right?
don't feel I definitely don't feel that confident about it. Like, and, you know, like, are we schmucked for like spending 2 years of our life and our cash on renovating a building? Yeah. Like basically 1,000 square foot coffee shop. You know? Yeah. It's a lot of work and a lot of money. And and then this other person has this like gorgeous,
beautiful space
where they must have spent $1 million.
Well,
you know?
this isn't just,
and you know, and you're just like, how? And
where did you get the resources for
what
this?
I'm learning is like we just have to trust ourselves. Yeah. Like we know this works for us. Yeah. We know these numbers work for us. Right. And I don't know. I'm still always on a quest. I'm like, how do you do that?
How did you do that?
But that's the thing, though. It's always, and it was true even with eBay. I mean, it was more so true in the early days, not so true now, where I would always be like checking out other people's stores.
Yeah. You know? How are they doing this?
How are they doing it?
Yep, totally.
Where are they finding that stuff?
Yep.
How are they getting those prices? You know, all those things. And then you just have to learn to just trust yourself. And
well, you do what is right for you. Yeah. Like, what we're doing makes sense for us. It's the way we've known we can do things and be successful in the past.
And, you know, take advice or, consider advice.
Yeah.
Check out what other people are doing, but ultimately you've got to do everything that's right for you,
Just that feeling of, look, I've had that feeling a couple of times with people that I've known where they've just been like, I'm doing this, and I'm like, wow, that person's so confident. Like, I don't know how they're doing this. I don't know. Their numbers don't make any sense. And then they crash and burn. And you're like, oh, their numbers didn't make sense. Like, that's actually like correct.
Right. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, you see what happens in the long term and you're like, oh, I was not incorrect in thinking that was not a sustainable method.
Yep.
So
in other words, don't believe us.
Don't believe the hype.
That's right. Okay. Let's talk about eBay. How is our helper doing, Ryan?
Pretty good.
He is on week number
3.
Yeah.
Of 2 days a week. His photos are getting better. I mean, there are definitely times where I'm like...
This is a 16-year-old young man.
Yeah.
Who just turned 16.
Yeah, like he just got his driver's license, which makes my head spin. I'm like, oh, you're so young.
You're teaching him how to take photos of just like the wackiest, weirdest stuff.
I'm like, here's a weird cast iron trivet that was hand painted by someone in the 1970s. I don't know how to explain this to you at all. So yeah, his photos are good. I had to remind him of things several times, which is fine. I'm like, I really need you to show the scale of things.
Right.
Like, you have to hold it or show this.
It's next to a coconut
milk can. You know what I need to get? I need to get the classic Campbell's tomato soup, because that is Andy Warhol.
Because, and just a side note, we only say that because we always hate when we're buying things on eBay.
Yeah.
And, it's like a picture of a plate or just some item, and you're like, how big is this? I know it says it in the description, 11 inches. And I know I can get a tape measure out, but like, just show it to me next to something. Like, show it next to a banana.
Banana not included.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there are a couple times where I'm like, we don't know how big this little statue is, know?
So, but he's doing better, and he's doing better. Is he getting faster?
Yes, he's getting faster. I have not been able to keep up with him because we were traveling and et cetera, et cetera. So I have a bunch of scheduled listings I actually need to do today.
Yep.
But I'm happy because we're getting through massive piles. We have boxes and boxes of auction stuff, which is both good and bad because it's like taking up my whole office. And there's definitely stuff in there where I'm like, how in the hell am I selling?
I mean, it's amazing.
Thing?
It was back
in
what it is. June, I think. I was buying at an online auction. I only did it for
3 different times?
I think 3 weeks. And each time I bought a truckload of stuff for not that much money.
Not too much money.
And that's what we're eating off of, It's just insane to me how much stuff there is. I was having dreams last night about scavenging.
Yeah.
Would you like to hear this dream? This is very
very vivid.
We were at some house. Mm-hmm. It was like an estate sale. And I felt like I was getting mad at myself because I wasn't caring a whole lot about the whole thing, just not being as on top of things. And this guy was like, "Oh my God, look at all this stuff I found!" And I'm like, "Oh, I was gonna go over there, but I didn't." He got over there first, and it was like all this stuff. It was like these. I don't know. It's just so specific. It was all this stuff that this guy who had died, he had been pen paling with a serial killer in prison.
Oh my!
So he had hell? He had all this artwork.
What did you watch on Netflix yesterday?
Correspondence, and I was like, I wish I'd found that. That's worth so much money. And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm gonna just take all this." I'm like, "Can I have some of it?" He's like, "Oh, just take this." I'm like, "Oh, I wish I." And I was so mad at myself.
That is the crazy. Now we do know that people do that. Where they correspond with people in jail.
Yeah.
Sometimes famous people.
I think as I get older, my dreams get more detailed just because you have
specific things that you're referencing.
And you're just like gathering more like stories in your mind. I don't know. It's like,
that is the wackiest thing I have ever heard.
And then I woke up and the cat is sleeping next to me. And
all cute.
Yeah. I don't like cats in my bed. Get out. You take up too much space. Okay, so I'm glad our helper's doing good, and the most important thing is he's teachable. Right?
Yes, I feel totally comfortable being like, okay, just watch this next time. Watch out for this thing.
And he's doing a good job putting like the inventory number and the items.
He totally gets it. I'm like, these go on this shelf, this goes in this bin.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful.
Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, he seems excited too. So I was texting with him, just, making sure he tells me when he comes and goes, because sometimes I'm not here. And he got his license. So he has his license as of last Sunday.
Good.
So
I mean, he lives a mile.
He lives a mile away, but he needs to be able to drive himself here during the day. So
it's funny, I say a mile away. So in a city, that'd be a significant, a
mile.
That's a whole other neighborhood.
Yeah.
For us, a mile between him and us, there might be 12 houses.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when we tell people when they're visiting for Airbnb, we're like, oh, it's about 15 miles to the, national park.
You're like, holy moly.
And you're like, that's 10 minutes. Like, there's no stop. There's you just go. It's funny.
Okay. So this is not eBay, but it's online selling. Etsy. I forgot we had anything even on Etsy. Like we've tried Etsy every so often. But I guess we had some furniture on there.
I had a sewing cabinet / credenza, and I had just listed it. It was on this tear where I was like, I'm just going to put a bunch of stuff on Etsy and let it sit there, and I don't care. Finally, someone messaged me and was like, hey, I really like this. How can we get it shipped up to Brooklyn?
Right.
And I was like, she's not going to buy this, and we figured out a price. I was like, it's about $200. It's going to be about $200 for a U-ship person to grab this and bring it up to Brooklyn. So she was like, well, how about $500 total? And I was like, yes. Yep. I've been trying to sell this thing on Facebook for $100, and I can't get anyone to come pick it up. So yes,
absolutely.
So we sold that on,
and so this is probably maybe the 10th time we've used that service to ship something or have something shipped up.
Yeah, it's and it seems like times.
If you're shipping something to a big city,
it
seems relatively easy. There's people who are just driving.
They're going that way
along the path. The lady that picked it up looked just like
a regular person in a caravan,
an Astrovan. Yeah, and it looked like
I didn't know she'd be able to get this thing in there.
It looked smart that maybe she was here to visit family and down here and was like, I'm going back home, I'll make some money.
She had a bunch of fancy lamps in the back, so she's picking up small stuff, but that's so smart.
So has it been dropped off?
I actually need to check on that because I only said yes, she picked it up
because it's been 5 days,
right? I know. I need to sign on to U-Ship. I just kind of forgot about it. I'm like, oh, I need to release her payment. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, unless I already released it. I don't think so.
She hasn't said anything.
I know.
So anyway, that was good. So now I'm all like, well, let's just sell everything on Etsy. Let's go for it.
It took me years to sell that thing on Etsy. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
So
I also did something yesterday that I rave endlessly in a negative way about.
Okay.
And that is, I bought something by accident.
Oh my God.
We were out and about, and because I don't wear glasses and about, because I just haven't done that yet. I have cheaters everywhere. I get it, guys, but when I'm walking around, I don't have a pair of glasses on me. And the eBay app pings and there's an offer, and I'm like, okay, it sells for $50. The offer's $30. I'm like,
$37.
I'm like, that's great. I'll take it. And the picture's kind of blurry. I'm like, I'm sure we have so many items. I'm sure it's something of ours, and I take it. And it was an offer sent to us.
We must have had it on a watch list, or we looked at it, or something.
And then it says pay now. I'm like, no, you pay me. You pay me. So we have to.
So we have to be the jerks who are like, I bought this by accident.
Right. So now I can understand, I guess, why people do it.
I've had other sellers be like, I was looking at this because it's the same thing I have.
Yeah.
And I was checking prices. I
have to eat some
and
crow.
You're like, Best
served cold. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about our numbers. We sold 43 items this past week.
Yeah.
That's a lot of items.
Yeah.
Think of a table in front of you. 43 items is a lot of items.
Yeah.
That's like
You're
6
telling me
things a
I had to
day.
pack them all.
Our gross sales without shipping was, and that does include the credenza.
This does include, well, it's got to. I mean, we sold it.
$2,513.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah. It's good. Not bad.
I love a week like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that sewing table was definitely a nice big.
Just get it out of our storage, our back building.
A nice big hit, yeah. Definitely. Things we sold, like we sold a luggage sticker for $100. Would you like to explain what a luggage sticker is?
Back in the early 20th century, people would travel places with trunks or suitcases, and you would get little stickers from either like airlines or like the train company or the hotel you were staying at.
Or the steamship.
Or the steamship you were on, and you'd stick it on there almost.
Or the Zeppelin.
Yeah, sure. I would love to find one of those stickers, right. That's for sure. So this one was from a hotel in Paris, and it was super Art Deco, totally from the 1930s. Unused. Like somebody was collecting them, because I got a stack of them at like an estate sale. I think I had $250 on this thing, because it's incredible. I sold it for $100 to someone in Paris.
Yep.
So I was like, I have been sitting on these for several years, because it's like, who's searching for luggage labels? Not right. Very many people. So $100, I will take it.
I'm going to question you as a seller. Okay, we sold.
Yeah, sure.
This like 1980s bag, like a vacuum bag sealer.
Oh, like a seal-a-meal?
Like from the old days. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the oldest things we have in our store. You know, it's like we would never pick this up.
Not anymore.
And it doesn't come with bags. It's just like this thing. It's sold to a guy in Nigeria.
Like
for
I'm like
$30.
I'm like, look, I will.
So are you shipping this to this guy in Nigeria?
Well, it's eBay Send.
Okay.
So I am going to rant a little bit about eBay Send, where there are certain places in the world, like Africa, like the entire continent of Africa, where I'm like, this is never going to get there. I've never had anything get to Africa. Right. I've always had to like open a case and be like, this never got there. Or the tracking just ends and it's literally a Nigerian scam.
Right. So, I mean, fine. So my question is do you think it's going to get there? Because if it doesn't say delivered, then we're going to have to refund.
Well, I'm going to fight it. I'm going to be like, I sent it to DHL through eBay Send. It's not like I sent it first class mail through USPS. Right. So this is my problem with eBay Send.
Tell me.
Not the global shipping program. I've never had a problem with this.
Right.
This happened last week where I sent an item to the UK. It was marked delivered by DHL. eBay almost didn't back me up. They're like, oh, it was sent to the wrong postcode. I'm like, that's not my problem. Right. I just printed the label from eBay. So they actually like closed the case.
Right.
But there's another case open in South America where the guy's like, I never got this. And this tracking just stops in Brazil. And you're like, that's not my problem. Like, this is an eBay program. Like, What am I supposed to do about DHL?
So what % chance do you think a 1980s vacuum bag sealer is going to make it to someone
10% chance. 10%. I should have canceled that sale. I don't know. That's my beef with eBay Send right now is that DHL does not update tracking on eBay. Right. You have to open a DHL page and look for the tracking, and when it stops, it's still my problem.
And that's what's nice about global shipping is that if you just got it to the
Kentucky,
eBay,
you're covered.
Yeah, right.
So I actually switched half our listings. Anything that's heavy, like parcel size, I'm sending through global shipping. Yeah. I don't care if it's more expensive.
It's interesting to me why they started eBay Send and they still have global shipping. I can't tell if they're trying to transition over, like they'll eventually end global shipping or what.
I don't know if they're just trying it out and see how many problems they have.
Okay, other things we sold, winter coats. Winter's coming.
It was chilly last night.
Brian and I both have like little hats on right now because it's cold in our house. I mean, cold is a relative.
Well, it's just
feels
not
chilly.
hot and humid like
we sold
summertime.
4 winter coats, which is nice.
Yeah.
We also sold a fancy knife for $200.
Yeah.
And I don't know, not a lot to tell about it, but just that knives are cool to find and sell.
If you can find weird, fancy. It was like, the handle was like the hoof of a deer.
Right.
What? It was this German, crazy German, like Bavarian knife.
And the most satisfying sale was we sold an old 1997 Apple PowerBook.
Yes.
For $90. 4 parts.
4 parts only.
Broken. And this was found by your brother.
Yeah.
In the garbage room of his New York
apartment building. So they have like a little like exchange, like if people don't want to throw things away down in the trash room, they have recycling, but someone was like, here's an old Macintosh PowerBook, and it came with all these other things, like a CD thing that's like a module. So I like stripped it out and sold each module by itself, and then the actual computer, it wouldn't turn on. I tried to turn it on, it just wouldn't turn on.
I know, but I mean, so we've had it for a while, probably.
But $90, I'll take it.
Over a year. I
got it for free.
I think we talked about like, how do we get your brother to like,
I know,
go down there every day and like pull everything,
and like I'll send him a shipping label. Just ship me this stuff. Yeah. I couldn't do it. He was just like, what?
He's like,
I'm busy. I have 2 children under 2 years old.
It's like, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Scavenge of the week. Yeah, we bought a little bit. Nothing really to write home about. We're just, I think we're just waiting till we catch up with all this stuff.
I need to catch up.
When we drove to Harrisonburg, Virginia yesterday.
Yeah, Virginia, where
it's
we live.
Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And so I
completely forgot about that.
I was like, there are yard sales everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we did not stop at any yard sales.
I just can't get any more stuff right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's why I had that dream, because I think I was, when we were driving by, I was like, wow, that's like one of those like whole yard sales. It's not just clothes. I think I was feeling really guilty.
Like, we should have stopped.
I was like, there could be some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and so I think that's why that dream. But anyway, it's that's just the way it is. We get busy. Customer issues.
Yes.
We had a good week this week, but because we didn't do a podcast a week ago, last week we had 3 buyers that didn't pay. And I don't know, it's just my endless all the time rant. Just like, didn't pay, don't like talk to us.
No messages.
No, like,
gave
sorry,
us good offers.
I didn't have my glasses and I accidentally bought it. It's just like, and I just wish eBay, it's that one change, and I feel like it'd be good for them, even if they don't care about us. Just good for them. Like, if a buyer makes an offer, eBay should be able to like pull the money out of that buyer's in whatever account or credit card they have linked.
Like, you bought this. Like,
you're accepting a contract. And so that way eBay will get paid and they'll get money.
So just like when you accepted that $37 offer, you'd be like, we have to pay.
It should just like automatically like take the money out of my account. I feel like
that would be really bad for high dollar items.
Then I could cancel it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so a buyer can then, if they change their mind, can go at, just like on Amazon. I mean,
yeah, you can cancel an order.
Like, just cancel an order, but I just feel like I don't like
it sucks.
Yeah,
it totally
does. That's my rant. It's like rant number 461. Things you learn in the forum. Question: do you promote your store on social media sites, and which ones, and how effective does it seem to increase your sales?
Yeah. Are you asking me?
Somebody I knew came onto our forum and asked that. I think that's a common question. And basically, does it make sense to like post your eBay stuff on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter,
Pinterest? Yeah.
And I think the answer is the one I gave is, I see a lot of people who just do like really a low effort sharing, where there's apps and stuff where it's just like spamming links of your
God.
eBay store.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like your links are getting out there, but it's kind of just spamming it, and there's no curation.
Right.
And that, I don't think, does anything.
Yeah.
Except just look spammy. I think there are people, and we know them, you know, like social media influencers or people that are really into, like, they curate an Instagram page and they're like, look at this cute blouse I got.
Right.
Look at these cute Danish
it's
modern
curated
candlesticks. And they actually seem to do fairly well, and people might actually buy directly from them. But that's like a full-time job.
Yeah, that's a huge hourly.
Right. Like, that's a big thing. So it really depends. If you just want I don't want to actually do any work.
Yeah.
Then it's not going to help you. If you're like, I like selling on eBay, but I really like curating an Instagram channel, then I'll probably do pretty well for you.
Yeah.
You know. But again, it's all about where you want to spend your time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Look, like I tried Instagram, I tried Pinterest, I've done like whatever. And I'm just like, I lose interest. I'm like, I just need to list on eBay. Like that. If I didn't do other things like Airbnb and trying to do this coffee shop and blah, 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 I probably would spend more time doing like an Instagram account to try to sell to people directly. Totally. Right. It's time, you know, it's just time I don't have that I'm just not interested in doing it. That's me personally.
Yeah, it's time and interest.
And I sell on eBay enough already. I'm like, it's not like I'm like, man, I really got to figure something out. I'm like, nope, it's like almost passive. So great.
Yeah,
you know?
And you know, it's just like with anything. It's not like I open up an Instagram and I put up 2 things and then I'm done. It's like, no, it's something like
every day you are posting
every single day.
Yeah,
and then people are asking
consistency,
questions and you're answering them.
It's just like this podcast. We always say when anybody asks us about doing podcasts or video blogging, they're like, "Well, how do I do it?" I'm like, "You just do it all the time. You build up an audience and you build up a community, and you can't stop."
Right. Or just like, you can't just like put up a podcast and expect a million people to start.
Like you have to podcast all the time.
Yeah. And
that's how it's done.
About consistency, and that's what people are looking for is consistency, you know.
Even if we talk about the same thing every week, right, guys?
Yeah. Okay, before we get to the questions,
yes,
I will say that we are finishing. Tonight is the last episode of
Alone, season 7.
We didn't watch it when it came out. I don't know how old it is, but it's fun. It's our favorite season of Alone.
Oh man,
100 days in the Arctic.
$1 million. That's the highest they've ever. It's always been 500,000.
What's interesting to me, and no one tell us who won. My ears are closed. Okay, so we're at the last episode.
Yeah.
We haven't seen it yet. It's 2 hours long. Right before this starts, they've only gone like 54 days.
Right.
So there's like 45 more days, and they're on the last episode. I'm thinking no one's going to win. But we'll see. The interesting thing is the last 3 people out of 10 is like this, you know, like wilderness anchor, you know, Alaskan guy who, as you'd expect.
Yeah.
And 2 ladies.
Finally, I'm like, 2 ladies are in the running.
All these other guys, like Navy SEAL and like Marine and like these tough guys, and
they're like, I gotta
I'm teaching wilderness classes. They've all dropped out.
Yeah,
these 2 ladies are still in the running, and they're kicking ass. Like one lady, like
she's ice fishing.
And the other one found like a porcupine and like crawled in a rock to like kill it. I'm just like, what? Oh my god, this show is incredible. So.
Yeah,
we're all about it. So anyway, that's exciting. That has nothing to do with eBay, other than I guess they're kind of scavengers.
Oh, yeah. They're 100.
Right.
This guy killed a muskox by hand. What?
Right.
Well, he hit it with an arrow, but then he stabbed it to death with a knife. It
is true. And then he's like eating the face.
He's like smearing the brains on his face for like lanolin. Like he's just like. Look, that's reality in nature. Like that is not.
And it's interesting. And then we'll go to the comments. The wilderness guy said, he's like, the interesting thing is like, we're in a competition and it's 100 days only. Yeah. And, this is like really hard. It wasn't that long ago where just like,
this is how it normally was.
All of our great-grandparents or whatever, they
slaughter a cow, they eat every single piece of it.
They're in like a farm in Minnesota. Yeah. And they're farmers, and they have to like make it through 6 months of a winter time just on their own. Yeah. There's no store. It's like, wow.
You're like, this is how they did it. Totally.
Okay, let's go to the comments or questions.
Okay, you can call our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hey guys, this is Adam calling from the Death Piles and Taxes podcast. Was listening to your show a couple weeks ago, and a gentleman called in about selling his daughter's computer that she had at college. He's asking tax-related question. I am a tax expert, so hopefully I can give you the correct answer. As far as selling that computer, he's selling it for less than what he paid for it, and depending on if that's his business, that's his nature, if he wrote off the $1,100 expense in the previous year, which I don't know. It depends on, again, if he's a reseller by business, he would have already included that expense. And now if he's reselling that computer, he would have a $700 gain. Now, if he didn't take the expense in the prior year, he could use it for this year as the expense as that item was placed into service, as it became a product that he was selling. Then he would, again, have a $400 loss. But again, all of this, it all depends on if he is a reseller, how much money he's making and selling. Like most tax questions, they're very vague because you have to know so many circumstances. But in general, if you're selling items, if you make more than $600 in the entire year, you should be putting that on your tax return as a sole proprietor, Schedule C. All of those things are IRS regulated. You want to make sure you're claiming the income, but in that instance, he wouldn't have any more tax consequence because he was selling it for less than what he paid for it. So thanks, guys. Love the show. Hopefully it answers your questions. Again, this is Adam from the Death Pile and Taxes Show. That's just trying to help out with any tax-related questions. Thanks.
Cool. Very helpful to know that, for people who are trying to figure out what they're allowed to expense and what, they can't expense. So, yeah. Write it off. Maybe.
Write it off. Maybe.
Hey, what's up? This is Brian in San Diego, California. And I had a first happen to me today, and I was wondering if the same thing had happened to you. I had a denim jacket listed on OfferUp and eBay as well, but I modeled it myself. It's a jacket I was getting rid of because I lost some weight recently, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm the best way to model this. I didn't have any other model around, so I was like, all right, I'll just wear this, take a selfie of it, So I used that as the main pick for the listing, and then on OfferUp, I got a message from a dude saying, looking hot, bro, you should be a model. First time anyone's ever tried to hit on me through e-commerce site. So I was wondering if the same thing has happened to you. I don't know if you guys use yourselves as models to sell clothes. I was wondering if you'd ever been hit on eBay or OfferUp or anything like that. Is this a common thing? Because, I don't know.
Yeah, when we first started to sell, we only model our own clothes.
Yeah.
We were very, strict about it. We have to model all of our own clothes. I don't know why. It just seemed like it made sense to do that. And, it sounds like you got actually kind of like a cool response.
I would get all these weird responses you have devil eyes. Yeah. There were some guys who would be it wasn't too bad, but they'd be I don't even know, I can't even remember anymore. They would just be do you have a boyfriend? And I would just be delete, block, whatever, But
yeah, girls were always trying to hit on me.
I think mostly people would be you're dumb. Yeah. It wasn't positive in any way. So we just delete them, not respond and just block. But that certainly doesn't happen anymore since my photos are just taken on the floor.
Yep.
Now.
But a beautiful wood, like heartwood.
They're like nice wood.
Floor.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that's it for calls.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's it for our show today. Thank you very much for being with us. I hope we could have spent time with you in your mind.
Yes.
While you're working, you're listing.
In your audio.
You're buying your own time.
Yes.
Yeah, making all the money all at one time, like a lottery. That's what life is. Anyway, we're out there. I feel like if you want to subscribe to us, I don't care anymore. We're here. We're like a cool club.
Scavengerlife.com.
Down at the end of the alley. We don't want a lot of people here. If you're here, that's all that matters.
Yes.
This podcast is ending in
3, 2, 1. Bye.